Hello everybody, it's Ryan. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. For about 2 months now, I've owned the DJI Mavic Air 2 drone, and I'm here to answer the widely asked question, is the Mavic Air 2 the best budget professional level drone? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it. And for a quick spoiler alert, in case anybody doesn't want to watch the entire video, the answer is most likely. However, I recommend you stay tuned to the entire video to find out my reasonings why. Now there are two packages you can choose to purchase whenever you decide to get this drone. The first is the regular Mavic Air 2 package, which is shown here. You get the drone, the remote with spare control sticks, 3 pairs of propellers, a power cable, and a remote control to phone display cable. There's a whole bunch of these cables depending on whether you use Android or iPhone. That being said, this whole package is $799. The other package option is called the Fly More combo. This is the combo that I suggest buying. It costs just shy of $200 more than the original set, this one being $988, but as you can see, you get a lot more with this. The travel bag is a nice option to have in case you're using your drone on the road. This is a very small package, and the travel bag is actually about the same size as the Mavic Mini's travel bag. The set also includes ND camera filters, which allow you to fly in bright sunlight conditions, 3 extra pairs of propellers on top of the original 3, 2 extra batteries, and a battery to power bank adapter, which allows you to use the drone batteries as a power bank to recharge your phone. This is how everything looks whenever everything is packed inside of the travel case. The only thing I do not travel with is the charger cables, and that's because I have 3 batteries, which gives me about an hour and a half of flight time, and that's more than plenty for the work that I do. Alright, so I wanted to discuss the specifications that the drone has. I'll start things off with the size comparison of something that everybody has next to them or has easily accessible, which is a piece of paper. So here's the drone folded, and here's a piece of paper. This is obviously in the folded up position. I'm going to go ahead and quickly unfold it to show you how quickly this can be deployed. You simply unfold all the legs, then you remove the gimbal cover, The gimbal keeps the camera safe. However, you don't want to fly with it on. So that's really all you have to do, and then you unfold the propellers. So in about 2 minutes, you can have the drone and the camera, or the remote ready to go and go ahead and fly. Now this does weigh 570 grams. The reason that's important is if you fly in the United States, you do need a remote pilot's certificate to be able to fly this. If you're already a fixed wing or a helicopter pilot of any sort, or even I think even a balloon pilot, this is just an add-on. It's a very simple written exam. However, if you're not a pilot already that has a certificate, it's a bit more work, and you'll have to do your own research on that. It's just, again, a simple written exam, but it's going to be more difficult for you to pass because you don't have the prior knowledge of airspace and such that already certificated pilot has. From here, I'm going to discuss the rest of the specs that I think are important to know, and I'll go ahead and put some pictures that I've taken with this drone on this screen and maybe a video or two, so you can see the quality of the camera. Okay, to start the specs off, we'll look at the max speed, which is 42 miles an hour. It has a max climb rate of 12 feet per second and a max descent rate of 9 feet per second. You have 3 modes the drone can use. The drone has tripod mode, which is going to be slow and for cinematic type of shots. It has normal mode, and then it has sport mode. Sport mode turns off the proximity sensor. The proximity sensors on the drone detect objects and keep the drone from colliding into objects. You have 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and 2 underneath. You do not have one on top of the drone. Service ceiling is essentially the altitude that's the highest that the aircraft is designed to fly. The Mavic Air 2 has a service ceiling of 16,404 feet. However, legally in the United States, you cannot fly above 400 feet above ground level. The flight time is 34 minutes. However, under my tests, I found that to be a little bit generous. It's about 29 to 30 minutes, depending on how fast you're flying the drone. I've never gotten much more than 30, 31 minutes. Their 34-minute time is done under ideal conditions. The max range is about 11.5 miles using a technology called OcuSync. The Mavic Air 1 and the Mavic Mini use a Wi-Fi signal, so the OcuSync is much better as it allows the drone to go farther than line of sight. I've never had an issue with losing connectivity with a drone due to distance. Also, the drone does very well in high winds. I've never had an issue with getting high wind warnings, which I got very often whenever I had the Mavic Mini. You can operate it from 14 degrees Fahrenheit up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. It does come with an 8 gigabyte internal storage system, and you can expand that with a micro SD card going up to 256 gigabytes. And the camera is very good on the Mavic Air too. It has a 1/2-inch sensor for high quality photos and videos, a 48 megapixel camera that's capable of both JPEG and RAW format. It can take up to 4K video at 60 frames per second or 1080 at 240 frames per second. And it has a gimbal, which allows the aircraft to essentially be fumbled around by the air, but the camera stays still, so it appears to be a still shot. So all things taken into consideration, do I recommend buying this drone? Absolutely. If you're in the market to buy a drone, whether it's your first drone or you're moving up from maybe the Mavic Mini or the Mavic Spark or even the Mavic Air, this is a great upgrade, and I think you will be very pleased with it. I've been very pleased with it so far. I've had no issues with it. The flight time is incredible. You have 3 batteries, so you have about an hour and a half worth of time, and I did my first I did my first photo shoot today for a realtor, and I didn't even use half of one battery. So I think it's a definite win, and you can make your money back by doing real estate properties or other various jobs. That being said, if you guys have any questions on this, feel free to ask them in the comments, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.